Premier, it's public information. You don't have to play coy, Premier.
You don't know what I know again. And again, I'm asking, you're saying what I know. So you know what? You even know what I know just because the information public doesn't mean everybody knows that. Like, if information becomes public, everybody knows it. That's not how things work. So you're making these statements. I'm asking you, like, okay, really, I'm interested. You're telling me you have ships here, ships there, weapons, missiles here. Okay, that's interesting. Right? But now you're trying to say, I don't know.
About the Premier, you know about the missiles because you have chastised me personally about putting Patriot missile systems in Taiwan. You have publicly condemned me for doing it. So I know, so come on now. I mean, how can you say I didn't know you were doing it when you've been publicly condemning?
I think you're lost. I think we're getting maybe something that's being miscommunicated here. Okay, because we're going down a place where I don't see. I offered $5 billion, $50 billion for jobs. You told me about Patriot missiles and Taiwan, people being scared. I said, how do you know this? And where does that come from?
I'm just trying to offer you something to kind of get the ball rolling.
It's not working well. It's not working well. This whole time, it's not working well. You started off the conversation trying to get us to do something by accusing us of manipulation. Further that by not only just manipulation, IP theft, you've made a lot of allegations within this one meeting of diplomacy. This is what you call diplomacy, Mr. President.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we
then followed it and ended it out by how many weapons you have, how many ships you have, you giving missiles to Taiwan, knowing that it's a sensitive thing for our country, and gloating in the fact that you give them missiles? So,
Premier,
I'm just saying, this is a diplomacy meeting, right?
Well, Premier, I can see that, we've been going at this a while. Perhaps we should, have another day. So. How about we get together, let our tongues cool, and next week we can approach this issue next Friday.
My tongue is cool. My tongue is completely cool. I've just been listening to you.
Very well, Premier. You have a cool tongue, but how does Friday sound to you? Next Friday, how does that sound to you?
50 billion sound? If you can agree to 50 billion, we can have a next meeting on next Friday.
Well, again, I mean, 50 billion. That's
what are you against American jobs? Now, come on, that's wrong with American jobs.
That's a great proposal. There's just a couple other things that we would like to see in return.
Not return. I offered something. What is that? So you need a return for an investment? So
what we need
the money and you want a return? How does that make sense?
What we need is for you to open.
You're going to give me
your
$100 billion to solve a problem for you. You have an American problem, which you said Americans have a problem. So I offer $50 billion. Now you said you need an incentive for me to solve a problem that Americans don't have a job. So I'm trying to help out the American people.
Premier,
$50 billion.
What you have to understand is we can't play a game of
$50 billion.
We can't play
Americans?
Premier. We can no longer play the game. We can't play the game of kick the can down the road anymore.
That's not okay. I'm saying right here in this meeting that I'm going to do $50 billion right now to the American people.
And I'm looking for a permanent solution.
Wait, hold on. So you don't $50 billion contributed towards the economy in creating manufacturing facilities in the United States of America, in the towns that you select, not even us, that you select, that need to change. That's not good. That's not a good deal for Americans. Let's get it done right here. That's not down the can. We can sign it right now. Shake my hand. Let's do it.
Well, it's starting to sound better.
Let's shake the hand. 50 billion. Would you right now? No. Wait, hold on. You said you did not want to kick the can down the road. I didn't say that. You said that. I'm finna do the deal right now. 50 billion. Right now. That's not down the road. That's right here, right now. Stand on it. You're the president of the United States who sat here in this meeting and said, let's not kick the can down the road. 50 billion right now. I said I was going to get back to you on that. Now I said it right now. 50 billion right here, right now.
Okay, and what about
increase it by the next meeting? An option to increase it to 100 billion.
Okay, and what about the Chinese renminbi?
No. We're talking about that right now. Deal?
Well, I also need some. I also need to talk
so for us to invest money in your said company, in your country, we're giving you the money to solve the problem with American manufacturing jobs. I didn't say we had a problem in China. You said we had one. I said I'll investigate it, and we're going to do what we have to do for it. And then we'll get back up with you. We're going to update you. We're going to keep you in the loop for it. No problem. Now you said in this conversation that you had a problem with American jobs. I said, cool. Factories, cool. Towns, desolate. People need support. Cool. 50 billion right now. You said, well, I don't want to kick the can down the road. I said, I'll do it right now then. Because I was going to invest. Now we'll sign the deal right now.
Premier, three of my predecessors. Premier,
I don't care about the predecessors. Let's do the deal. What are you? We're speaking to you. What are you going to do? You had a problem. I came up with a solution that's a win-win for America and China. Let's sign it. Let's get it done. In this meeting. We spent a lot of time. We don't need another meeting.
It's not a win-win if your markets aren't open. It's not a win-win if your markets aren't open.
You said in this conversation that Americans did not have jobs. So you're going to go back to the American people and articulate that you denied $50 billion in investment because you wanted to focus on this other thing of trying to change some law in China.
I think the American people will stand with me.
Okay. All right, cool.
Will stand with me.
Then. Just think about it. The offer remains. You don't have to decide now. Offer remains. As far as the other stuff we spoke about, we'll investigate.
I do appreciate that. May I send my Secretary of State to continue talks with you?
Yeah, no problem. Sounds good to me. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for yours, Premier.
All right, cool. We're going to see RT. RT is in the building. What's good, RT? What do you think?
Yo, what the hell?
This was the president, RT.
No, hell no. That was not my president.
Yo, man. Hold on. Don't get him yet. Don't get him yet, RT. Don't get him. Don't get him yet, RT. Hold on, RT. Hold it. Hold it on. This is going to be a YouTube classic. I'm going to start running this scenario for everybody who talk about. Wait, hold on, D. You done. You had your time. Wait, you out. You had your time. I had to mute him. He had his time. You had your time. Digital Nomad, since you've been sitting here, then we're going to go to RT. Digital Nomad, how'd you think that DE, the president, did going in negotiating on the behalf of the American people? What's your 2 cents?
Was all over the place. Like that conversation started over here and ended over there. Like, what did he? I almost had to stop the conversation and be like, "Hold on, what are we talking about again?" This started off talking about something to do with trade and y'all not being fair with the way y'all y'all rates keep moving around or something floating something. Then he started talking about missiles and Taiwan. I'm like, God dang, what are we talking about? Hold up. It just seemed like, what it seemed like when he didn't get what he wanted at first from you, when he didn't get the response he wanted. That's when he started alluding to military power and stuff like that. I noticed that.
Oh man, great coverage. Now RT, go ahead, man. What you got?
Oh my God. Let me first start off, Darnell. I appreciate your efforts, brother. But you started the argument at a position of weakness. You are goddamn United States. You are the president of the goddamn United States. You are the leader of the free fucking world.
Well, hold on, RT, you got to give him some. I think he didn't notice that he was the president later, so then he.
But still, when you corrected him, he still didn't take that stance. Like, motherfucker, you need me more than I need you.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him that kind of, like we had to give that context.
He told so many secrets. He told so many secrets before he even leveraged anything. He told you that Taiwan was asking for this and Taiwan was asking for that. And by the way, I'll throw Taiwan. No, the fuck, we will never throw Taiwan into it. As an America, we will never give China
give me the chips.
Taiwan.
He was finna give me the
give
chips.
them all the chips, and you were like, "Yo, that's good." Well, what if we throw Taiwan in? Well, that's sweetening. Hell yeah, that was sweetening the pot for fucking China. That's all they want is Taiwan. That's where all the chips are being processed for every goddamn electrical device in the world. Do you know the Taiwanese themselves said they will fight to the last man and blow up every chipset manufacturing plant before they give it over to China? Every person in China right now is military trained. They have weapons. They said and will fight to the last man. That is currently on the books. There's no way Taiwan would even let you use them as a leverage pen. They know how valuable they are to the world market. So the fact that that was even thrown out there as some kind of a sovereign type of thing, man, hell no. We would never do that. Secondly, America will never allow China to set up any kind of
55 billion
within. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. We could take more than that away from you just putting on tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking way. I don't give a fuck what you offer us. You are not building shit up in this country, bringing all your spies and all your intel and having access to our neural network and all our fucking computer networks and everything else with all your fucking. No. You're not setting up a motherfucking thing in goddamn United States. By the way, all your support would have lost it if they knew you would have allowed anybody from China to come in here and set up a corporation that took any kind of money. Then they would accuse you of taking money under the table all the way. Matter of fact, that was the last time he was in system. They were arguing over the fact that he was indebted to somebody by $300 million. And it was an argument between Russia and China. Do you recall that? So why would you... The whole thing is, why would you let that be a point of a contention? You don't want any money from China, man. What you want China to do is bow down.
Chill out.
Okay?
Chill out. Now, D, go ahead. You got the two perspectives from RT and Digital Nomad.
I'm not even
you
done yet, but I'll let...
I know.
Yeah,
we got to let DE reply.
Well, let's let Ronan finish up so I can respond to all points.
Try to salvage yourself. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, RT.
You took the weak side of the argument as far as needing their production. There were laws already put in place, even by Biden, that started doing technology improvements here, so we can produce our own chipsets, right along with Taiwan. There's almost $1 trillion that was set aside for a law for that to help. And that's why the tariffs.
And we got 3 foundries so far.
Right. And that's why the tariffs would have been increased, because what Biden also set up was no competing product can come in this country without being overcharged or tariffed, because we're not going to compete against ourselves for the same chipsets. You get what I'm saying? That way our chipset can be the most reasonably priced between any other chipset that could be similar in production value outside of the country. So there's going to be tariffs to protect our production from any other country, bringing it in at a lower price. Okay, so that's what the tariffs are set up for right now with the current laws. So that you're giving it like we need them. They don't need. This is why China can't do shit with Russia right now. China's worried about we will just totally siphon off everything they can do with importing their products here. Half of the products they're producing are by American companies anyway. Most of the money they're making are by American companies have established themselves over there for them to build our products and ship them back here. Okay. They barely produce anything they've invented on their own. They are replicants. What they do is they find anybody's product, they steal anybody's product, and they replicate it for a cheaper price. Okay. And then they resell it as basically a black market spinoff of the original product. They don't make anything original. So all their imports are basically from stolen technology or technology that's been authorized by U.S. companies. We don't need them. we can easily move our production companies over to India, which, by the way, is their next
India's
competing
begging.
company, which is their next competing country that is
And they
actually
hate each other.
stealing a lot of their production right now. India is getting transferred. A lot of American companies are jumping from China over to India.
Yeah, and they hate each other too, so that's
And
good
they
too.
do hate each other, which is why also when it came to that fucking bill, God damn it, I can't think right now. What's the name of the dollar they are going to come with?
The BRICS?
BRICS. When it came to BRICS, India was involved in that. That's why we were saying it was going to be inconsistent between all the countries that were involved.
Yeah,
A lot of them
really
don't
hate
get
each other.
along. And India was involved in that BRICS bill. So that's what we're saying is like, it was so unstable, and it was only a linchpin because the countries that were involved with BRICS had a problem with American tariffs and things that we did to them. So they were trying to get back at us by trying to take the world's currency over to something they said would have been better, which again, nobody's going to compete with the American dollar because they can't consistently produce enough to even one country of the BRICS produce enough to offset the global economy. It will never happen.
Yeah.
It was all leverages and little ins and outs to kind of annoy us. And that's all it was as an annoyance at the end of the day.
Also, yeah, great point, RT. Great point. And I also want to just lighten it up a little bit. Hey, Darnell, still not in DR? Are you in DR or what, man?
No, I'm packing up my house, remember?
No, that's what Fearless was asking.
Yeah.
Fearless podcast. He was just like, you still ain't there. So he was probably a little joking with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Kevin is a building. He said president needs to have a backbone. What, Kevin? You didn't think DE had a backbone?
I mean,
yeah, bro.
Your
argument, like I said, the way you just gave up all kind of leverage points and you were divulging insider information and
one night stand ninja, man.
You were giving away top secret intel on what we were doing with their neighboring country in order to protect them from themselves. And I'm like, yo, stop the madness. Oh, let me get up on here real quick.
Hold on. Put your gloves down, RT. Let D speak. All right, DE, go ahead, man. Defend yourself.
Okay, well, Ronan, to be honest with you, brother, I mean, as far as, like, I wasn't giving away secrets. All this stuff is public knowledge. Literally, Google is reported by CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. China knows about the Patriot missile systems for selling. That's why they're all up in arms and building up their Navy and all sorts of things, is because of the Taiwan Strait. Now,
but also, I want to just make you realize something. Also, just because CNN said it doesn't make it true, right? So, correct. If CNN said something and you're the president sitting in front of me, you're confirming it,
which makes it rock solid at that point. Until you confirm it as the president of the United States, it's still rumor and conjecture. And sometimes
that's a good point.
Listen, and Intel sometimes will allow secret or certain points to come out about something as mixed direction. We don't confirm or deny in Intel. We let that shit fly and let them try to figure it out. But confirming it verbally during a meeting, bruh, all they doing is ticking off points they probably were rumored to understand, but not really be clear with whatever they intercepted in their intel. All you doing is ticking off boxes and letting them know everything that was already discussed in private meetings with a whole nother country. You can't do that.
Okay, that's
one rule in Intel. You don't divulge what's going on in your meeting that happened 5 other meetings with 5 different other countries. Bro, that's too much intel you're feeding to one organization, and one that's a world global power against you ultimately, because they're still a communist nation.
Correct. Now, but the thing is, Ronan, like you look at the Cuban Missile Crisis, for example. The Russians knew about our missiles in Turkey. So when Kennedy stared down Khrushchev and said, "Hey, I want those missiles out of Cuba and I want them out now," the Russians came and said, "Well, we want your missiles out of Turkey, your Jupiter 2 missiles out of Turkey." And Kennedy said, "That's all you're fucking worried about? Oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and get them out of there." But nobody views Kennedy as weak.
Here's the thing. Kennedy, at the end of the day, since Cuba's right off our borders, could have just fucked Cuba up. We didn't need Russia's permission. It's, again, a leverage argument to do something for something. You don't know how many other moves. Listen, in Intel, there's 5 moves for one move. The one move you do know about and 5 other moves you don't know about.
Yeah, but Kennedy confirmed those Jupiter 2 missiles in Turkey, and he capitulated. Hey, we got our missiles out of Turkey.
That's not the point,
right?
Yeah, and then also too, you were just saying a bunch of missile stuff, and I was just like, okay, like Digital Nomad said, you entered into that conversation about missiles.
Volunteered.
I just asked you,
right?
Like,
so basically,
half of the population is scared or fearful, and then you're like, well, they're coming to me and asking for nukes. I said, who? And then you just kept laying into it and divulging information. Like,
I can tell you never worked in Intel. You never worked in
Intel. As a monitor,
I never was an Intel
what the
guy.
Hell? Digital Nomad,
I wasn't.
Did you get lost?
You said, when did I get lost? I got lost. Listen, can I just ask, what was the original?
See,
he said, I'm so lost. I don't even remember the original conversation.
So the
trade, it has something to do with trade or something ain't fair.
Like we was manipulating.
You were definitely manipulating and letting them go ahead and run off with the mouth. Definitely. That's why I was in the back. Like, yo, let me tag me in. I was in the back chat already, bro. Like, God damn it. Shut up.
So I didn't want to interrupt him. Like, I just wanted him to go.
Nah, he the president. You can't save him, Vice President Roden. You can't save him, man.
Bro, I had to get in and say, Mr. President, I think you're feeling a little unwell. I think the president needs to take a break right now. We need to get him up out of here right now. Hey, Secret Service, get him out of here. He's having a fucking cold right now. He's having an allergic reaction. Get him out. I'd make any excuse to get him up out that room, bro.
To be fair, he was doing relatively. I think he was doing well at first. Like Obstacles was hearing him out. He was like Obstacles was giving Darnell the opportunity to provide proof for his accusations or whatever he was coming up with. He was doing relatively well at first. But it seemed like once he didn't get the response that he wanted, he didn't get the immediate response. Like O2O say, yeah, okay, we'll get back to you in a week or something like that. That's when we start offering Taiwan and start talking about missiles.
Oh no!
But see, here's the thing: is that okay? So like, when it comes to well, I'll get into Taiwan later. But so originally, it started out. I said that China is manipulates their currency, which they are confirmed by the WTO currency manipulators by devaluing their currency in order to make their exports cheaper. Okay, and
do you think they're devaluing it on purpose, or do you think they're what do you think is behind it?
It's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, Bush has said it. Obama has said it. Trump has said it.
Do you know their economy took a dump? Do you know their economy took a dump around 2019, 2018?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
When did it ever recover from that?
To my knowledge, they haven't fully recovered. I mean, they did. They did start
their
showing
economy
signs.
is exactly right. Their shit is in the fucking dumps. They are goddamn. They're hemorrhaging.
Yeah, we got issues that you could have brought up that were legitimate.
Hemorrhaging. They are hemorrhaging. They
offered
need
a solution for it.
That's why China can't run into even Biden and say, "Look, we're sorry. We're not going to get involved with this whole thing. We're going to step back. Blah blah blah. We need trade."
Wait, hold on, RT. You remember the part where he said, "I don't understand football analogy." But then proceeds to give me a football analogy.
Yeah, I heard all that. I was like, oh my God, stop.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
well, you're from China. You're from China.
No, but that you should use your sense. Why would you use an analogy that you know I don't get in order to make a point?
It's a Texas thing, you know. You tell stories.
Don't put Texans in here because
I
know
you do.
Don't throw no Texans under the bus.
I'm not a Texan, but I'm here, and
I'm a Texan. I'm a Texan, damn it.
And then he told us, yo, you good, but you ain't great. Like, I was like in the meeting, like, and if you do what I'm saying, you'll be great. Like, what the hell? So I was just like, oh boy. So, like D, what I'm saying is, all right, this is time to show accountability and maturity. Yeah, it's like we think we can, like, oh man, it's easy to sit back and backseat drive the nation, but it's a harder thing to rule a nation, and everybody don't got the answers. So most people, I say, they always say like, oh, the president doing this, the Fed is doing this. But if you give them the power and say, okay, what are you doing? That was just step one, and it was a tragedy. So we would definitely, and then you were step one, which was diplomacy, damn near teetering on step two, which is probably military action or whatever. But you already went to your last resort. Yeah, he actually talking about guns and weapons and tanks, and that ain't gonna happen.
Wait, first he
and
denied it with Taiwan. Then he said, I'm just gonna step on the gas and just tell you we got it all.
Yeah,
we got it all. Fuck Taiwan. Fuck helping them. We gonna bring it to you.
And then he said, remember in the conversation, he was like, well, I'm doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was just like, well, I'm doing it anyway, sending missiles. I was like, yo, what? And this is the diplomacy conversation.
Oh, my God.
He diplomatic.
Well, that was to show you, hey, man, I got to, that is kind of like Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly but carry a big stick. The U.S. Navy is my big stick.
Then he said that too. Remember, I got 5 ships, you got 1. I was like,
7 ships.
Seven.
Yeah,
so it was 7 aircraft carriers.
They're actually building up their Navy right now because of what's going on in the Filipino Sea.
Yeah,
and they're building islands.
Who's building up the Navy?
China.
Exactly.
China.
Did you see me say it though?
Did you see their land masses? But you didn't use that as a leverage pen to say, I know what you're doing in the sea over there by the Philippines, and we're going to kind of ignore that for a minute and let you get.
And I didn't say it neither. I ain't going to say it.
But you giving
like,
a whole
I got ships in the sea. And
you have to understand. You have to understand. If you look at the history of Taiwan, it actually is China. No, it's actually China. Yes, it is.
Stop trying to tell us what we got to understand.
We know.
Well, wait a minute.
Listen. We know the history, but once Taiwan got there, that's like us saying, "Hey, we used to be part of Great Britain, so Great Britain at one point can always come back and say they can claim us again." Fuck, no, they can't.
No, but here's the thing: the difference between the United States,
just like the Filipino Sea is named right now, it used to be called the China Sea. They legally changed that name to the Filipino Sea.
And guess what?
They still want to try to rename it back. They can't.
Guess what? RT too. You never like Taiwan's coming at me and they asking for this and that. I'm like, oh really? That's what they doing? Like you're confirming it, right? Because the news could just be saying that, right? But I'm sitting in front of the president. He's telling me that. I know Taiwan's sitting back. If they ever heard the disclosure of this meeting, they was like, I'll never tell the president shit.
I got all these
because he's going to go run and tell China that I told him this. So like in the whole conversation, you was giving up what your sources was telling you. So it was ridiculous.
You were giving up intel confirming it. Top secret intel. Like, you just giving it up for free.
At the end of the day, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to go back and wax Taiwan and stop running back so they could, stop talking to you guys. But you were just telling me everything, bro. Okay. And then you was like, you was going to history, and then I'll be like, okay, but that's kind of old. Do you have anything recent? You was like, well, I don't want to bring up history. Like you brought it up, and then it was just so much stuff. It was all over the place. So what I was just trying to get people to see is, bro,
Taiwan is the country.
If I gave you the rock, it ain't that easy. So stop mapping out the president as it's easy, because we just gave you the power in this situation. And everybody that's going to watch this playback would agree that definitely you did not win that. You did not do that for America. They would have what they have to say about it. And guess what? The same way you criticizing Trump, Ninja's going to be criticizing you and what you just did. So just realize that's how it is. And you might not know the answers to everything, right? Like it might be hard than what you're mapping it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you were just mapping it out like, man, doing this is wrong and doing that is easy. And then it's like, okay, you want to talk about what's wrong, what's right? Let's see you in the position. And then you got in the position and you fumbled the rock.
Well, I mean,
did you?
Well, I mean, that's the problem when you put an alcoholic in charge, I suppose, but
you see that? You see that, man? You see that? What'd you say, Nomad?
Nine, yeah.
Okay, so
You see that?
Let me address this real quick because Fearless brings up a good point. Taiwan
Wait,
is
hold on,
not
let me read it.
necessarily recognized as a viable nation, an independent nation. It is still part of one China policy, as far as the United States Intel and recognizes it as. But it doesn't impose or implicitly endorse the claim that China has on Taiwan, which is why we do support it in the background with assistance.
But it's sensitive.
It is a sensitive situation, yes.
Yeah, it's not a game. It's pretty. And again, guys, you always got your information, but the president gets top secret information. Yeah, there's information you'll never hear about this, like about countries and the position people are in. So it's like hard to make a judgment when you don't have that information. It's easy to be just an American citizen and say what you would do and wouldn't do in Taiwan, or what you would do with China and what you wouldn't do. But once you disclose top secret information, it might change what your position was initially.
You don't want to give that up. Yeah, because that's insider trading information you want to keep close to the vest.
No. But what I was saying was,
and negotiation,
once you get the information.
Yeah,
that too.
You keep it close to the vest. You keep it guarded to use it as kind of like accessible data in order to leverage something else against that person. But you never divulge your sources or any kind of thing that you have. I just want to say this real quick. It's called the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979. It was passed after the U.S. switched diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing. This law ensures that the U.S. will continue to provide Taiwan with defensive arms and maintain commercial and cultural and other relations with Taiwan itself. Even though it's supposed to be one China, we still allow it to be recognized as independent from China, and we support it as something as that. So it's a kind of we do, but we don't.
Yeah. And then also, I still want to say, like, wait, hold on. To DE's credit, he came up here and did what he had to do. So let's give him his respect for that. So everybody give him a round of applause for it. An A for effort, but an E for evaluation. Like his results were terrible.
Here you go.
But
here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we'll give you that.
Well, let's see President. Let's see President Ronan or President Nomad. Let's give that a shot.
No. Look, I gotta go get my massage. Okay, I live a good life. All right, I ain't got time to be playing role play with you ninjas all day. But what I do, we'll do it on the next joints because I think Digital Nomad said that was fun and that's very interesting. And I think if the viewers like it in the comment section, but I don't care what they like, we're gonna do it again. So what we got next? President Ronan.
I know that. I know that one dude, Anani or whatever. I know he want to get up here and.
Nah, he ain't gonna. Annoying. I would never listen to a guy from annoying one. I never listen to a guy from Canada. But no, I'm just kidding. But nah, next time we'll get RT. All right, we'll get RT in the seat. Now I know that it will be a little bit more challenging. But god dang DE, man, I didn't know what it was gonna be. But once we got in the conversation, I was like, man, it's going to be a landslide.
I was like, yo, I'm throwing the white flag for him in the background. I'm like, yo, tag me in, bro. White flag.
That ninja was in there talking about all types of shit like, man, manipulation, American people, this and that. I got hawks in the background. I got hawks in the ground. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, you got to, I mean, gentlemen, back when Nixon was president, he wanted to end the Vietnam War. All right, he wanted to bring the NVA to the negotiating table. You know, they didn't want to negotiate. All right, so Nixon came up, and you guys can actually Google this, but Nixon came up with the strategy. He goes to Henry Kissinger, and he says, "Kissinger, I just thought of this brilliant strategy. I want you to go to the Chinese and the Russians and tell them I'm fucking crazy, I'm pissed off, I'm crazy, and that I got my finger on the button. I'm considering nuclear war." You know, so Kissinger literally went to China and Russia in order to bring the North Vietnamese to the table and said, "Hey, we can't control the president of the United States. He's off his fucking rocker. He went crazy. He's threatening you guys with fucking. He's gonna nuke to end this thing. He wants out. We need something. We need to negotiate this thing in quick." It was called the Madman theory. And it was one of
Look, man,
Richard
you needed
Richard
It
Nixon's
looked like you did it without
greatest
that other
masterpiece.
stuff. It looked like you
were
just
the
went in there
madman.
a
You were
madman.
definitely
Yeah, you
a
were just
madman.
you just went in a madman. Like that was what happened with the situation. You just went in a madman. But
Well,
I give you
I'm not a political.
No,
I'm not a political
DE.
science major, you know.
All right, yeah, but no, you was acting like one in the chat, sitting in the goddamn
Oh my
prior to
God,
that.
damn.
Once we gave you the power,
I'm like,
you started
stop.
fumbling the rock.
You're giving too much away.
So
Your
hey, look, what
constituency,
did they say?
the whole
It's
country would turn against you the minute you said, "Oh, by the way, I made a deal with China.
Yeah,
They're coming in.
Come
They're going
on.
to set up a whole bunch of
come
companies.
on.
The white boys
I
been
almost got that
killing you
50
right
billion.
there on
I
your
almost got
side."
the 50 billion.
I never agreed to it. I never agreed to it.
We had them on the ropes, bro. I was about to put 50 billion on the American economy,
Oh
bro.
my God! I was like, "Don't do it. We would never."
Man, you probably messed
never.
it up, RT. You wrote it in the chat, then D seen it and was like,
No. No,
he said,
the
"Hell
point
nah."
the point was I didn't want to say hell no, and then you as premier. Okay, well, fuck you. Negotiations are over with. We're leaving. I just
Bro,
wanted to keep you
I wasn't
entertained and
in my
interested.
feelings like that. I wouldn't even said that. Like I would have been like, oh, okay.
But here's
That's
the
it.
thing: your argument started at a position of weakness. That's
Mhm.
all I can say. You basically were bowing down to him
As he should.
right off
you
the
know?
bat. I was like, "What the fuck kind of tone are you having with this man? That's less than who we are as a world power. Are you kidding me?
Not in that conversation.
Militarily, we are on
Didn't
the
matter.
up. You walked in there like we needed them, and you were looking for any angle to make a deal. By the way,
And then
you
he
started
flipped on me,
arguing.
right? And then he flipped on me like, we got guns and shit. Like, yo, man.
You don't do
I
it my
said,
way. We're gonna have to do it the hard way.
I'm doing
I-
it legal way. I was like, yo, this dude's a schizo. You sounded like Trump in the room. So, hey, shout out to Digital Nomad. Hey, closing statements,
That's
man. We'll
great.
do closing statements, man. Digital Nomad, let's start off with you, man. All the way from Passport, bro. Let's talk about I quit my job to that. So, interested. Digital Nomad, you go.
Yeah,
I'm online.
but
For
yeah,
that one.
that was a great stream. That was a great interaction between you and Darnell. I think you did well, Darnell. Don't let nobody. We're just joking with you. You did well. You know. I think they was talking for at least 20, 30 minutes, right?
And I
Yeah,
was
something like
dying.
that.
I was dying the whole 20, 30 minutes, and 5 of it I was sitting in the back chat like, "What the fuck? Get me on here."
You know what I'm saying? So he
Impeach him. Impeach Elliot.
Yeah, so he,
Yeah.
he
Go ahead.
did he
Sorry,
did
no, man.
he did well. So I'll give him his credit. And hopefully next time we do a stream, I don't know if there's any disagreements with maybe we'll see somebody else come up and try and hold their own position the same way Darnell did. That'll be interesting.
Mhm.
And that's all I have to add.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Digital Nomad. We'll let you go at the end, Elliot, because you're
Yeah.
gonna have to do a
Yeah,
lot
you were
to
the
say
man.
what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
By
go
the way,
ahead,
I'm
RT.
gonna say kudos to Darnell. Welcome back wherever the fuck you been for the last couple weeks. Happy holidays to you, brother. I don't know why you're not in the DR, but we understand you packing up a house. You sold a house. Congratulations. Okay.
Facts.
Well, in this argument, like I said, you started off with a position of weakness. Kudos for you for attempting, not having any background in foreign policies when it comes to that angle of not just reading it, but actually presenting it and arguing your point in that position of being a president of the United States, which is not an easy thing. But again, there's so many different angles to argue a point of leverage on a global scale. And when you're in that top seat, like I said, and that's why the presidency of the United States is so important. It affects global economies worldwide. You are literally the leader of the free world. There is no country you should go in a position of weakness, even in an argument, even if you wanted something from them, you don't go in with that stance. You look at angles of what they would need from you, and you look at angles of where they might be stressed, and you might push on those buttons. And I know you just didn't have that experience to know what weak points they had, what things you could have brought it as places that I could push and stress them out a little bit more and cause them some unease and discomfort so I can get my way. You didn't go there. You went with, I need you, and then if you don't want to do it my way, I'm going to leverage the whole military against your ass, and we can just go ahead and start World War III right now. You know, so, I mean, you went from one weakness to I'm going to just go ahead and flex my muscle right now and say, fuck
He went
you.
to the madman. He went to the madman route.
Your madman theory just came out in you. Okay, so good attempt. Keep studying. You know what I'm saying? But kudos to you for being brave enough to get online, because you know people can clip the fuck out of this thing and do whatever with you. But you know, congratulations for coming online and actually trying to stick to a point. And that's it.
Go ahead, President Elliot. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Roden. Even though you probably invoked the 25th Amendment on my ass,
I would have seriously said you were insane. You were insane when you came back with that proposal. You better not have signed anything before you came back. But no, definitely trying to get you to sign. Hey, sign right now. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I saw that, and you know, guys, this was fun. And actually, I obstacles, if I may say, I think you should add that segment. You know, anybody that's willing to come up, you know, do these little role play scenarios, and you know, I think that makes for a very interesting, you know, setup for you. You know, anybody can play armchair general or couch quarterback. You know, but it's one thing, you know, to be put in the hot seat and actually do it. And yeah, I mean, hey, this was definitely a learning experience for me. You know, what I was trying to do was employ a technique that I had learned. Obviously, I didn't do so good, so I might have to go find my books and look at it again. But I learned a technique called the Dear Man method. All right, and what the Dear Man method is, okay, it's a way of trying to get something that you want out of someone, all right, without trying to be overbearing, trying to blame the other, or try to force them where you make it look like they're winning something. And obviously, I didn't do a very good job of that, but it is an effective method to where, okay, both parties kind of, or excuse me, the other party, I should say, kind of feels like, hey, I won or I got something out of it, when in truth, I really didn't care. You know, so it's just one of those things. In my opinion, I think the Dear Man method, I think it's a very effective way of talking. It's not just, and it has nothing to do with just politics. It's actually more for, you know, average everyday people that are going through conflict. I mean, yes, you could go in there. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. But a lot of times the other person, they're going to rebel out of you just out of spite. So rather than come down and have that crazy hawk-like approach, you describe the issue that you're having. That's I think I did that well. I described the issue. I expressed the issue. The problem where I failed was, I failed on multiple fronts, but two of them was being assertive, and that's where the A comes in, the A and the R. So I did well in describing the problem. That's the D of Dear Man. E is express. I expressed my problem. A, I was not assertive. Okay. Being assertive means being strong. You know, you're not aggressive, but you're strong, you're stoic. Okay. I wasn't very strong, wasn't very stoic. And reinforce. Okay. Reinforce, I'm going to kind of give myself at least a D plus, or a C minus on reinforce.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good. I mean, I did reinforce. Hey, when
it's funny. You ever see Elliot? You ever see those videos where, you know, like a white person would come in and learn how to dance and they'd be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, step, 1, 2, 3, step. Yeah, that was you and that. You came in with your goddamn sheet that said DEAR on it, and then you was trying to hold to your points. You was looking at a post-it that said DEAR, and then just the way you articulated it was. But it's cool, man. It's cool. At least I give you that. At least you had some goddamn technique. There was a technique to the madness versus just pure madness, right? So I think you did bad, but it's okay because you said like, hey, look, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna, you know, get better. Plus, who cares, bro? You just sold your house and you're moving overseas to achieve your goddamn dream. So that's a dub. This don't mean anything. The thing at the end of the day is what you achieve in your own life. You get what I'm saying? So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's the important part, right? Like that's important. Fools will come in here and know how to do it, but still don't own no land, got no retirement account. So you know what I'm saying? What really matters.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, and again, obstacles, man. I'm telling you, you got to add this, like, make this a regular thing, like maybe a once a week thing. Yeah.
Nah, probably. Like, I enjoyed it. I had fun, and I always can play different roles. I don't really care about the position too much. So net, I think we'll have a good old time doing that. So that was fun. I appreciate your participation, especially being the first one. I got to figure out specifically what will be the name, like role play or something. I don't know, to get like. Yeah. The message across how we could do it. But I appreciate you just contributing because that was big. And then also you contributed in the channel in a monetary way. So shout outs to you for that. And that's
of course,
a big importance over here too. But you did both, right? So those are two big contributions. You basically did what you did in the negotiation. You gave me everything. You gave me economics plus content. No, I'm just kidding. But at the end of the day, I greatly appreciate it because you could have spent it anywhere. Could have spent it on some scrippers. So you spent it here today. So appreciate that. And RT, Digital Nomad, I think what's important for everybody, this is my little 2 cents, is, you know, you might think it's easy. You might think you can do this and do that, but it's harder. And then also, don't disrespect the empire because a lot of you guys are out here talking trash, but you ain't been in the field.
Insane.